just thinking about Sunday. It was a lovely sunny day, and I'd gone over to New Brighton to meet Teresa and Jane. We decided to go on a shopping spree to Liverpool, and we'd got there a bit early, so we sat outside and had a cigarette. Full of laughter that day and joy. So we sat there smoking and chatting, and then it was time to go and get the tickets for the train. So we got on board, and there was quite a lot of people going over to Liverpool that Sunday. Maybe it was the weather that brought them out, I don't know. But we were all geared up for a nice shopping spree in Primark. So we're sitting on the train and we're talking about creams and potions and clothes and laughing at everything. Everything seemed to be funny. It was a great day. So the train's just pulling out of the station at New Brighton. And I happened to look up, and there was this man walking towards us down the aisle, walking slowly and looking at the three of us sitting there. So I was watching him as well as talking, you know, because women can multitask. So I was watching him walking slowly down the aisle, and he sits opposite. Anyway, I can feel him staring, so I looked over and he smiled at me, so I smiled back. And then he said, "You're smiling, but you don't know what's going to happen." And I thought, oh, game on. I love a game. I love a game. So I said, well, no, I don't know what's going to happen next. Life is a journey, it's an adventure. And it wouldn't be any fun if we knew what was going to happen next, would it? So he shouts to me, "Catch." And he throws something across the aisle, and I caught it. It was a bracelet, multicoloured bracelet. So I went to throw it back, and he said, "No, it's for you." So I looked at this bracelet and I thought, my goodness me. So I said, "I don't believe it." He said, "No, it's for you." So we started laughing. We were just in one of them giggly moods, the three of us. Anyway, he came and sat with us. So I said, "Do you usually do things like this?" So he said, "I do it all the time." Next minute, he puts his hand in his pocket and he gets out a different bracelet. And it's all full of sparkly stones, white stones. And he gives it to Jane. Jane just takes it off him and puts it on. And we're laughing at this. Couldn't believe it. So he said to Teresa, he said, "I suppose you feel left out?" And Teresa said, "No." She said, "I'm just enjoying the event, and, you know, I'm having a laugh." So he sits there for a minute and he's talking. So I said to him, you say you do this all the time?" And he said, "Yeah." So I said, "Well, you've just got rid of 2 of your items." He said, "Oh no." He said, "I always carry lots with me." And he opened his coat. And he had bracelets down one side, numerous, and watches down the other side. And he said to me, and I said, "I've got bracelets in here as well." Well, we were all laughing. We were all laughing. And Teresa still hasn't got anything. So I said, is this all you do, you know, giving gifts out to strangers?" So he said, "No, I'm also a healer." Yeah. So I said, "Oh, that's interesting." I said, "I do healing as well. I do Reiki." And he smiled, you know, he was just smiling at me. And he was just an amazing type of fella that you could come across. He had those deep brown eyes that were laughing eyes. You know, so whatever he was saying, you couldn't really take serious, because if you looked into his eyes, they were always smiling. So he puts his hand in his pocket, and we all started laughing. And he brings out a watch. And he says to Teresa, he said, "This is for you." And he said, "What you do," he said, "this little thing at the side," he said, "if you pull it out, it stops time. And it'll save your battery." And, you know, I'm looking at him. And Teresa's smiling, and he goes, so she takes the watch and puts it on. So we've all been given a gift. And then I started talking to Jane about going, me and Teresa going to not the Belgrave yet. What's it called now? Oh, that dancing place in Liscard. Anyway, we were going there every Thursday night to learn the left foot jive, and I was saying to Jane how much we love dancing. And then this chap comes in and he says, I like dancing as well. So I said to him, can you tell me your name? And he put his head down and started smiling. I said, I only want to know your name, what's the big deal? And he said, oh, I have many names. So I'm laughing my head off at this point. So I said, well, I only want one. Just tell me one of your names. I said, it's just to remember you by. So he thinks for a minute and he says, Raj. Call me Raj. So I said, okay. So that's the name he gave us anyway. So he continued talking and he said, I also like, as well as dancing, karaoke. So I said, well, if you do karaoke, I said, surely you pay the audience. And he said, puzzled, well, why would I pay the audience? And I said, well, every karaoke I've been to, it's been like cats on the back wall, you know, the audience needs paying to listen to it. He started laughing. And he said, no. He said, I don't pay the audience. And with that, he started to sing. And he had the most sweetest, beautiful voice you could hear. So melodious, and he's singing the song. And then he stopped. And he said, it's no good me carrying on. He said, you don't understand what I'm singing about. So I said to him, it's a love song, isn't it? He said, it sounds like a love song to me. So he smiled at me and he continued to sing. And we were just oblivious to anybody else on the train. It was just the four of us sitting there together, enjoying the journey over to Liverpool. It was just an amazing event, you know, something that was unexpected, that was happening, and I loved every minute of it. So he gets off at the same stop as us, which was Central Station, and we're going up the escalator, and I'm with Raj, and Teresa and Jane are on the other escalator going up. And Raj is chatting away, you know, because he loves karaoke. And this is what he was chatting about. So I said to him, well, what about your family? So he looked at me all serious and said, he said, my wife doesn't understand me. I couldn't help but laugh. You know, I thought, God, Raj, you know, you're just a case. So we reached the top of the second escalator, we're going up. Anyway, we get off and we're walking through. And we're just walking and talking, the four of us. And next minute I heard, Dot! And I looked back and it was Sue. And she said, where are you going? And the four of us were heading to the train for Southport. We were just chatting away, you know. So anyway, we all turned together and walked to the exit. And Raj said goodbye. He kissed my hand. And I thought, gosh. You know, it was just a wonderful experience. And he walked off one way, and us three, well, four of us now, because we'd met up with Sue, we were heading off in another direction, straight to Primark, of course, for our shopping spree. Anyway, I looked back, and Raj was looking back, and he waved, so I waved back. Anyway, we hit the shops, and we all got stuff, coming home with loads of bags. But you know, life is a journey, it is an adventure, and if you're open to it, you never know what's going to come along, or who's going to come along in a day, or what's going to happen.